So this is my post-traumatic courtroom bullying blog called Misgendering Mister Eng Stonewall Attacked by Giants and What's natsec got to do with it. I have been so habitually misgendered my whole life that when I got regendered today in court, it was a relief that the judge feels the manliness of my courage. It would be like calling the testifier Mr. Christine Blasey Ford or Mr. Jean Carroll. Mr. Eng would be the pun, and that was going on my whole life. Mr. Eng would be the pun, and that was going on my whole life. I filled up a half a page in large, all caps, gay, for Stonewall, for gay pride, for the indignity of a male sexually assaulting and trying to frame me as his hetero prey. I came out today, and that was freeing. I told the judge how the sexual attack resonated as a GLBT hate crime to punish me for the disclosure of my gender identity. She assured me she would protect me from the muttering, sputtering, half-hearted, mumbling, undignified lawyer who had enough gall to mutter his insults under his breath. I will speak more later, when the resolution is assured. Judge called me Mr. Eng, then corrected it back to Ms. Eng, and then I told her she can call me Mr. Eng. This is the second time I have been called Mr. Eng by hot lady judges. Evidently, I turn into a tank of butch manliness in a courtroom packed with bigots and misogynists. I was threatened with jail for reporting sexual assault in America in 2019 in Oregon if I do not turn over evidence I had sitting on a desk waiting to be turned over. I told the judge I will comply with her order, that I plan to submit that evidence. She said, no, do not submit it now, submit it later, all at once, to check if I missed something. I asked Bozo the lawyer what was his goal to get me to drop the order. I'm asking if he is trying to coerce me for my right to stalking order protection under VAWA, Violence Against Women Act. I asked to see his civil settlement proposal. I noted for the record, it's a gag order. I was like, nah. I said that. It was the wrong thing to do, to drop the order, but that I was doing it for selfish reasons, for my own health, and that I had done everything I could to warn society about a dangerous man in contact with vulnerable populations. I felt at the brink of shrieks, as Samuel Beckett said in Text for Nothing. I said, at least he didn't rape me. I would have screamed, but the elderly were sleeping. I said I escorted him out of the Owens Adair, and he did not assault any other women that night. I was worried for the 86-year-old elderly neighbor. I heartily offered congratulations to the bully attorney at least twice, or exactly twice. As I said in the hearing, began with me expressing the fact that Mr. Christopher Palmer has a problem with the First Amendment, and evidently the fact of blogging entitles rapists or attempted rapists and their lawyers to inspect your blogging. Hello, it's on the internet. It is freely available to the public for a reason. There's a compelling public interest in the protection of the public from sex predators. The only way to get any of these men to get what it's like to be forcefully pinned down sexually by a heavy man a foot taller than you is to imagine a man a foot taller than them. So for Chris Duffy, that is a man, say, 7 foot 6 inches, forcefully pinning his legs and pinning his arms and rubbing his penis on his thigh like Chris Duffy did to me. That's way bigger than James Comey, a mere 6'11". For Chris Palmer to live through something similar, his assailant would be 7'3", and I may be overestimating his height. He was tall-ish. To have that whole foot taller than you think. I would never sentence them to be assaulted by giants because that is just so mean. Now, I really don't want creepbags, medical records, domestic violence history, mental health records. Because lousy attorney thinks mental health is this big stigma, and rapist-type guys that assault rape survivors should get a free pass if the rape victim has pre-existing depression. Where I come from, we call this abuse of power, bullying, picking on the weak. Chris Duffy being so excited by his assault that he sent me creepy emails after the fact, which I responded to with cryptic hints about my disgust, but I trust you, immediate confrontation in the aftermath, is no key for his nasty, spiteful domestic violence abuser representing attorney to pile in on the sexual assault victim like Judge Kavanaugh on a chain gang. But basically, this was a creepy male energy, and clearly I had more manliness than my assailant. It may be even the reason for this assault. Weak, feminine, mushy Cancerian men like Chris Duffy feel outmanned by a forceful, direct Leo like me. He needed to show me who his boss, that he could rape me. I asked his attorney, did his client have the mens rea for rape? It is one of my unsolved mysteries. It knocked him off kilter, immediately, physically. What discretion will the judge exercise? Will she run me straight into this oncoming train? Why is Christopher Palmer uninterested in reading my FBI blog? He looked flabbergasted, baffled, overwhelmed. If I have the guts to blog about FBI cases, I surely have the guts to out his small town boob grabbing sexual harasser assailant client who likes to work with the elderly just 'cause. I don't like men who make preemptive mental state questions without a medical or pseudo-medical qualification based on some absurdist nihilist blog like Brain Garbage. His client did the violent assault. I asked the judge in my original ruling to make an inquiry about the assailant's mental fitness. I told her today that if he could furnish a cause for his assault, Asperger's, marijuana use, exhaustion, just an excuse or way I could understand his assault. At last moment, I asked for a continuance to find counsel. The fact I was outgunned was the point. They send women to the firing squad. The abuser with money and power and the nastiest attorney gets to run. Coward never showed his face to court. Cowards playing hooky. I'm done with their justice casino. But are they done with me? How many writers and leaders and statesmen and assassins and cops do I have in my family to justify my boiling blood? I meditated on the courage of my cousin Chuya and powdered up with, oh, this is nothing compared. I invoked my grandfather. I always do. So when the national security reasons for not providing my sexual assailant's bullying lawyer my files came, he was gulping on his own muttered insults. The natsec blogger lacks credibility, or is it the other way around? The petty tyrant lawyer from Fresno lacks credibility and strategy. Some men have a fetish for strong women, and I knew Chris Palmer would fall for me. He was pretty cute for a graying redhead, but as I told counsel, attorney squirming like maggots in a stuffed suit. Maggots is never a good aura. At family court, we discussed maybe he just wants the dates of my periods of menstruation, and it's clear Mr. Eng has bigger balls than her assailant and can't be damned to show up to court, and gets to weasel and bully his way out of being cited for his contempt of the process. There may have been misapplication of the ORS. That is a judicial conduct thing. Most certainly there has. Maybe it's not a fair fight. Maybe he missed the don't mess with Mary Eng memo. I thought a lot about those I loved today. More in this hearing as I process it. Playlist Hexen Dunyan new song. Lovely. R.E.M. Man on the Moon. The Unbelievable Truth. Revolution. Is the revolution worth the pain? Sings Andy York. Today it was. Satyagraha. Huh.